Hey everybody, I'm here to tell you all about the new Facebook Ads MBA program. It's something I've been putting together for a long time, and instead of just making this available to large agencies, which is what I've been doing for years, I've really pared it down to what could work for folks. So let me know if you're interested. Comment below if there's any questions you have, but let me kind of talk you through sort of what this idea is. So first off, most ad agencies and most people that learn how to run ads, especially if they're coming off of YouTube or Google or anywhere else, there's a lot of good information, but most of it is absolute shit. Most ad agencies, where most people learn how to run their ads, if it's not on Google and Facebook, if it's not on Google and YouTube, or from like some scammy course off some internet guru, they tend to make the same mistakes. They poorly train people, that they overwork and underpay. And the real problem is now we have an entire ecosystem. We are 3-4 generations in of people who were poorly trained how to not do a good job, that have been accepting of getting paid less than their worth, where agencies and large employers just threw manpower at problems instead of actual good work. Now, what this really means is that we are now seeing people that have come up when they never had to learn how to do ads well. We see agencies and experts that learned how to succeed wrong. And they're teaching people how to do things wrong. And there's a reason that we continue to see the same problems week after week, month after month, year after year. How many times are we seeing ads? I mean, I see ads in my feed all the time because I'm in the business, but how many times do we see people selling things like, look, we're going to give you a really segmented journey and you're going to know all of your audiences and you're going to be able to do all of it. That's something that worked on Google 15 years ago. It hasn't been what you're supposed to do on Facebook since the invention of the Facebook Pixel. Now, mind you, I was spending $1 million a day as a supervisor at an ad agency with the teams around Henkel, the German version of Johnson & Johnson, as well as CBS Television, Nissan, alongside Activision and Levi's. I was doing very big brands, 7-figure budgets. The Facebook Pixel didn't even exist. Folks came in during that time or a little bit later when Facebook was so easy. To be honest, you could do things wrong and be super successful. And I think that's one of the biggest issues, is that we now have 2 or 3 generations of people that started advertising in 2017, 2018, got really good. We're like, screw this, I'm sick and tired of being underpaid and overworked. I'm just going to go out and do sales because more and more people are coming into Facebook to advertise. And they were able to run agencies where they run this very similar business model, where they are more reliant on their sales team to increase their book, the amount of money that they make on a monthly basis, instead of the work that they do. And that's a fundamental issue that we run into. Now remember, what we're talking about here is people that were trained poorly by other folks that didn't know what they were doing. They were ultimately hired by other folks that got really successful before Facebook was actually an optimized CPM environment. So it's through no fault of their own. When I call these people out, like Andrew Foxwell or Taylor Holiday or Nick Shackelford or any of these other folks, I know that they're doing what they think is best. The problem is that what they think is best is built off of a fundamental misunderstanding of how online advertising works. They've succeeded in that way because they haven't had to rely on doing Facebook the way that it should be done, because they had a full stack business model, and their business model was successful even though they didn't do good work. And they might have done good work for some people, and they're really good at telling everybody how good they are at getting that work done. And they're even better at selling you an idea for something that's out of context to help you succeed. So my point here is, there is a giant gap. Most people, I would honestly say at least 80%, 90% of the people that I run into on a regular basis have a fundamental misunderstanding of how Facebook operates, have a fundamental misunderstanding of what you're supposed to do with the platform. They suggest and live and die and breathe day in, day out things that are actually liabilities to their success. But because they're willing to work really, really hard, they're able to see some modicum of success. The problem is because they work really hard and because they solve problems by making things more complicated, they ultimately create an environment that inhibits the overall growth of their business. You can absolutely run a business in a certain way that gets you from $500 a day to $1,000 a day. But to go from 1,000 to 5,000, you have to do things differently. To get from 5,000 to 10, you have to do things differently. I've brought businesses to 30, 50. I took 50,000 a day and brought a brand to where they would on occasion spend six figures. I have, even back in the day before the optimized CPM environment, was spending, again, 7-figure daily budgets. My point here is there is a huge gap in the ecosystem. Now, if you've been paying somebody potentially for a course, or if you've seen these mastermind sessions and these dinners where you get to hobnob with all the successful people, and you're taking their advice, I'm willing to bet you've seen one of three things happen. Number one, what they say works for them and they can prove it to you. They might not show you the full context, and they might maybe take a lot of credit for a lot of other people's work, i.e. using 28-day or 7-day attribution and not mention the Google spend and not mention the email team or cost of goods or anything else. Thanks. So what I'm getting to here is that might be number one. Number two, they might tell you something that, well, it's a breakthrough for them and it's a rehashed idea from something that worked 3, 6, 9, 18 months ago. Because the honest truth is, if you make considerable changes to your account and you try new things, you're going to get different results. And if things are depreciating for you, trying something new is probably going to make things better. The problem is that doesn't actually make things phenomenally better. It just makes it a little bit better than the bad that you created. And you can stack bad idea on top of bad idea on top of working harder and harder and harder. And you're probably going to get somewhere, especially if the business is run well. If your business is really good and you have good business savvy, you're going to win even though you're not doing everything properly. So it's not to say that these people are running poor businesses, and it's not to say that their clients aren't succeeding. They are. A lot of times, though, they could be doing a lot better. And the real truth is that there is a lot of folks that listen to that advice that have lost hundreds or thousands of dollars. The opportunity cost of continuing to listen to these bad people over and over again is your future. And I talk to people every single day that face that problem. I was talking to a woman in Canada today, in Ontario. Her name was Linda. She literally had to put a mortgage on her farm to try to get into some courses so that she could make something work. And what she found after dropping dollar after dollar into all of these different pieces was that everybody kept saying the same damn thing. And that they weren't there to help you out. And ultimately, the results that they promised never came. Because most of these people are very good salesmen or ladies. But what they're not good at is actually doing the work. And some of them actually protest. They actually come out and say, often, this is what we're doing to make things work. And they'll also openly say, I'm not the one that does it. For instance, Andrew Foxwell had 2 people on his last podcast. It was a 90-minute podcast. He charged $997. 2 people on that podcast openly say that they're not the person that does the work. And if you're interviewing 6 or 8 people for 90 minutes, how much real, deep, actionable insight do you think you're going to get from somebody after 10 minutes of listening to somebody that doesn't do the work, that doesn't understand the platform, that tells you how some of their team puts Band-Aids on solutions instead of actually solving the problem? How helpful is that to you? And that comes with a discount on future bad advice. My point here is, and yes, I'm calling him out specifically because he's the most recent person that has shamefully tried to profiteer off of bad information, and he should know better. Very specifically, because people like me who are in the Facebook Disruptor Group have done case studies for years. Facebook has taught them what to do. And I hope that at some point in time, they come around. You know, it reminds me, there's a fun story, but I'm going to get to point number 3. Thank you. I'm going to get to point number 3 here. Something else you might have seen. The harder and harder you work, the more frustrating things get, and they don't get better. Maybe you have ads that work for 3 days or 4 days or 5 days, and you're trying different audiences and you're chasing down different things. You're like, well, today this click-through rate is good and this cost per ad to cart is nice and this CPC is good, but I'm still not making money, right? Because you're chasing down vanity metrics that people can use as a scare tactic to make you feel like they're smart. The honest truth is, it's not smart to look at those things. It is intellectually stimulating. And you can absolutely build a sales pitch around scaring people and then selling them a solution. That's been done for literally thousands of years. Well, I wasn't around, so I'm gonna go out on a limb and say 2,000 years ago, people were running the business model of, I'm not very well educated, but I'm sure as hell really slick at selling something. I'm going to terrify people and then sell them a solution that I don't even actually use myself. In our modern age, that is really the Facebook experts and gurus and people that run agencies. Now, also, why are people listening to folks who run agencies as though they have any clue how to run Facebook ads? My point here is, if your business day to day is to run a business and have relationships and honestly manage the optics and the teams and look for funding and all these other things, what makes you think that person has any fucking clue how to actually turn the knobs and push levers and make decisions? That's not their job. They don't do that hours every day. They don't do that. When was the last time they put in 1,000 hours to get that done? Much less 10. My point is, there are a lot of people that don't know what they're talking about. And they are predators. Yeah, you bring up Wilco. Our man Wilco is a fucking scumbag, and he knows it. And that's the thing that really bothers me. And I'm going to get into something here in a second. But here's the big issue that really grinds my gears. Either A, you know that the advice you're giving isn't good. You've been listening to the advice of people who are better than you for years to try to teach you how to do a good job. Or B, you don't know because you've rejected those lessons for years and you put your ego above what works best for your clients and for your students and for the people that don't know better and don't know that you actually don't give a fuck about them. So here's what it really gets down to. The Facebook Ads MBA program. This is why I've made it. And comment below if you want to get in on it. And believe me, this is not cheap. It's not fast. This is a 9-week intensive program. This is an immersive experience where we are going to walk you through documentation, testing, scaling. You're not just going to understand how I did it on one account. You're going to understand how to actually think in a way that's going to utilize how the platform works for your business success. This is weekly classes, also one-on-ones, and an e-learning component. Think of it as consulting, group coaching, and a course. Plus you have homework and accountability, and you're going to do it in a small group so that you have community. One of the biggest issues I think that a lot of people have when they're running ads, and one of the biggest things that I hear people say all the time is, it's a lonely business. A lot of people don't have anyone they can legitimately reach out to for help, much less anybody who understands what they're doing, because everybody's scrambling to try to figure out what the next best thing is, and the other people that actually know what they're doing are too busy succeeding or preaching the same boring advice over and over again. The honest truth is, there's nothing different, very little different in what I'm saying today, as in what I said in 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021. You can actually go back and check the receipts. I have archives of all those live videos. They're available for free. They're on Facebook, they're on YouTube, and if you go to the Patreon, it's a searchable archive with that, plus articles and everything else, and I'm not here to sell you on that. My point is, if you want the next 9 weeks to look better than the last 9 months, and you want to stop facing the same issues of wasting your time and your money, overworking yourself, and seeing less and less success, especially as we see data issues come in with iOS 14 and whatnot, where you are going to have a lower and lower ability to succeed when running a very terrible business model. The honest truth is, the folks that have been relying on this predatory business practices are the ones with the most to lose when you're being more and more restricted from running things poorly. What has really been happening here is Facebook was forced to make people do what Facebook said you should already be doing. Sorry, I just got a Clubhouse invite from Grant Cardone. I'll reach back to him later. My point here is, I've got something that I'm really interested in doing. There is a market right now. Almost every ad agency I know needs 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 more media buyers. They all need more work. Most of them, poorly trained people that they overwork and underpay. So here's a problem, and I'm here with a solution. As somebody that has been teaching those agencies and those experts what to do for years, and they basically told me to go fuck myself because my idea of putting client success and business acumen over their ego has been something that has threatened them for years. Whether it was Tim Bird literally stealing one of my case studies and selling it on stage for $700 for a 20-minute video, or Kat Howell banning me from her Facebook group, or Savannah Sanchez blocking me on her Twitter account. I'm bad for their business. It's not good for people like that to have me around, because their business is predicated on the idea of poorly training people, overworking them, underpaying them, and then ultimately delivering a bad product to their clients because they don't require their relationships to go well. If they have a client that sticks around for a while, that's even better. Their business model is selling access to bad information as well as having a good sales team. And the honest truth is this: you either have a good sales team or, hi Pete, hi Daniel, you either have a good sales team that is the core of your business growth, or you do a good job. And that's really what we're getting down to. So here's the thing: the Facebook Ads MBA program. Again, this is a 9-week, Daniel, this is a 9-week immersive experience where you're going to learn documentation and accountability and transparency. You're going to come away with an understanding of how to really itemize out where your liabilities and areas of opportunity are. You're going to know how to test and scale. You're going to be able to understand not only how to execute, but how to work independently and how to be, honestly, how to defend your positions when asked. This is my way of saying, if I were to train folks, if I was to say, I want to run places that is above board, where people are actually taught how to do good work, because people's happiness and success is a priority over my ego. What can I do? Because 80% of the people out there are total shit at this job. What can I do to make the world a bit better at this? And so this is what the Facebook MBA program is about. It is not me teaching you what I do on any little day or anything like that. This is me teaching you how to think, how the platform works, and really how to understand what is in your way, how to understand what is going to actually move the needle, and how to understand what you need to do so that you can utilize the world's greatest invention since the dawn of humanity at creating intent at scale to your benefit. I've done this for years, and I've generated well into the 9 figures of revenue for many brands. Not all the brands have generated 9 figures of revenue across all of them collectively. So I want to make sure that nobody thinks that like I made the corner store a $100 million business. For what it's worth, okay? Right. So here's the deal. If you're interested in having the rest of your time on Facebook look fundamentally different than everything that you've experienced up to this point, If you are sick and tired and frustrated, of being frustrated, sick and tired of having all of the same problems and trying to solve solutions in a vacuum without being able to reach the people, and honestly trying to decipher what is bullshit and what isn't bullshit from a whole bunch of people whose primary motive is to take advantage of you. If you want to rise above that shit and be better than 80-90% of the people out there, I'm teaching it. And I will stand by that. And there's a reason why the folks who prioritize predatory business practices and lying to their clients to boost their ego as a core element of their business are very opposed to what I'm doing. So, this is not cheap. This is not an overnight get-rich-quick thing. This is not something you're going to be able to ignore. And honestly, if you're interested in maybe trying it out and ignoring it, I don't want you. I'm developing an army of very good people. I already have some people signed up. Some of them are entrepreneurs, some of them are agencies. I got one agency signed up right now that is fundamentally interested. How do they make their best person even better, so that that person can train the rest of their team? I was mentioning my friend Linda that I talked to today. She's going to sign up because she's sick and tired of being taken advantage by these people. She's also a nurse, and she's inside of hospital rooms in Canada right now because they're about to go back into a shutdown, and she's tired and scared of risking her life to make ends meet. I got a man in New Jersey. His name is Josh. He's been having other people run it for him for years. He's sick and tired of them lying to him. And he might not want to ultimately run the stuff for himself, but he knows that if he comes on right now and learns how to do it, he'll be able to train or hire somebody and be able to sniff out bullshit so that he can go back doing whatever he needs to do. And for him, it is a worthwhile investment to not waste thousands of dollars and years of his life on being taken advantage of, when the opportunity to actually succeed is right in front of him. So anyway, that's what I have for you. If you're really interested in this and you think you're really ready to invest in your future being a lot brighter than your past, knowing that this is going to get harder and harder and harder, DM me or comment below that you're ready. When you do that, well, not you, Daniel, we've already been talking, but if everybody else, if you do that, I'll send you a video, give you the whole breakdown. If you want in after that, there's an application. This is not like a lead gen thing. I am not going to be bombing you with emails for it because honestly, I don't need to. I don't want 100 people. I don't want 12 people. I want 5. And right now, there's only a couple spots left. This starts June 1st. So if you want in, because I don't know if I'll do this again, to be completely honest, it works for agencies. I got to see how it works on a one-on-one level. Now, I got faith that good people are going to come out and really want to do it. But I've also had some people sitting on the edge just like, yeah, I want to do it, but it's not the right time. Or, yeah, I want to do it, but it's kind of expensive for me. Or, yeah, I want to do it, but I'm kind of doing something that's kind of working right now. And my response to them is, great. If it's not right for you, then don't worry about it. I understand that. And I'm not some hard, pushy salesman that's like, you got it. What can I do to put you in this car? No, I don't care. If this isn't right for you right now, then I want you to not waste my time so that I can reach out to somebody else that is. But if it is right for you, if it is something that you want to do, if you're sick and tired and frustrated, being frustrated, sick and tired, and you haven't seen success, if you haven't cracked this nut, I'm somebody that has. And Facebook has entrusted me for years to teach them how to use the platform. So, if you want in, message me. If you don't want in, let me know. That's fine. There's no harm. Now, I've got follow-up meetings with several people, so I don't even know by the end of those meetings if there's going to be available spots. But it is first come, first serve. So if you want in, I'm excited for you. If it's not right, I understand. There are many paths to success. My point here is if Facebook ads is your path to success, and you're not seeing that right now, I personally don't know anybody else that is on my level, because I know most of them, that is offering teaching because they're too busy doing other things. To be completely honest, I'm pretty much the only one doing that has chosen this path of teaching as where they want to move forward. And then there's many reasons why I've chosen this. Honestly, this is enjoyable for me. I like to do this stuff. I get something very emotional and powerful when I get messages every day from people thanking me for helping them change their lives. To be honest, I don't need to race everybody else to $100 million or something like that. I'm doing okay. I bought a house in Los Angeles and I paid for my wedding in cash. I'm good. So for me, I'm about peace of mind and I'm about giving back. And I remember some of the worst bosses I've ever had. And I've seen my work get flat out sold by other people that didn't understand it, falsified the results, and then ultimately went on to make a lot of money. Now I either can play the victim or I can take action. So this is me taking action. Once again, the Facebook Ads MBA program. If you want in, message me that you're ready to go. I'll send you a video so you can make a final evaluation to see if it's right for you. And after that, you take an application and we'll get on a call. This starts June 1st. I only have a couple spots left and I've got a fair amount of repeat calls, second follow-ups from folks that are like, I need to make sure I can afford this. Because it's not cheap. It's a 9-week-long class that is designed to teach you how to think, how to problem solve, how to document, test, and scale your ad account, how to fix problems that you don't even know that you have right now, and how that you can ultimately address any of the issues you have and solve problems by making things simpler or identifying what the real thing is that's going to move a mountain instead of worrying about the little vanity thing that's going to have you chasing your tail for the next 6 months. When you come out of this, you're not going to be solving the same problems anymore. When you solve that problem, you move along. You're not going to be chasing down audiences and complaining about your ads going stale after a little while and complaining about all of this other stuff with instability. Yes, there's going to be days today. And there's going to be issues. But they're not going to be problems for you because you're going to have solutions to them and a plan. You're going to have things that come up where you already knew it was going to be a bad day or a bad week. And you already are willing to take it because you already have a plan for the next 6 months. That's where you want to be. That's how you build businesses. That's what I've done repeatedly for others. And I want to train you to get it done too. Because I'm sick and tired of people taking advantage of folks. And honestly, there was 2 courses sold this year that just pissed me off enough to say, screw it, I'm going to go do it. So, I hope that you're on board. I hope you're excited by this because I am. Because I talk to people every single day. Every day I talk to 2, 3, 4, 5 people that are just sick and tired and frustrated, being frustrated, sick and tired. So if that's you and you want some help, DM me. I want to be able to help as many people as possible. And the honest truth is I'm getting out so many folks that I can't be as helpful as I want to. So I'm trying to find the right solutions for each individual person. With that being said, I think this is the right solution for anyone who wants Facebook ads to be what unlocks their future success and their happiness for either their career or their business or their path out of the 9 to 5 that is running them dry and stealing their soul. That's it. I hope that's helpful. I hope you're interested. Clearly, some of you are sticking around. So with that, I want to say thank you. Because you've given me something I can never repay. And that's my time. That's your time. And I want to say thank you. Because you could have done it anywhere. And you chose to do it here. So that being said, it's 8:30. I just visited a wedding venue today. And we did the walkthrough. And I haven't had dinner yet. And maybe I'm a little pissed off. Because I still see people selling shit that is a liability to others' happiness. And I talked to somebody today that had to literally put a second mortgage on their farm because they were being taken advantage of by folks like that. This is the path out. If you want to get on board, message me. Anyway, I'll see you guys. I hope you find a way to be happy. Hit me up in the DMs if you want in. And if you're really ready to make an investment in the future, I'm ready to help you make that happen. See?